Hello friends, this is Tony Dizant, Space Rocker of the Planet Earth, back with another video, back with another live video today on my vlog. And it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday fun day for a lot of people. And tomorrow, instead of being a Manic Monday, is supposed to be Memorial Day. So we'll see what happens. But that's what's going on. And of course, I'm giving you today a brief of the not so fake news because this morning they were talking about a subject that is very, very real. And I believe it was the Surgeon General or somebody big like that that was talking today on the news saying that they had failed. The United States government has failed when it comes to protecting our children and their mental health. What they meant by that was that they have failed in taking care of us from the time that we were children. And I truly believe that because, of course, today they have a lot of more advances in medicine. They have a lot of more advances in mental health. But still, there's a lot of stigma that goes with mental health. It's like something that you cannot get sick. It's like you can get sick of anything else. Like you could have asthma, for example, and you're sick of your lungs. You're sick of the way you breathe, and you have breathing problems or whatever, and that's okay. So you have asthma, and as a child, you can have asthma, and they might just give you this little thing to puff on and whatever, and send you on your way, right? Albuterol or whatever it is called, but you can't say that your kid is crazy. If you tell a parent, "Oh, your kid has mental problems," that's when the parents go like, "What do you mean my kid has mental problems? How about your kid?" you know, it's nobody wants to accept that mental health exists. On top of that, they want to sugarcoat it now. They've been doing this for a long time now, in fact, and it's still like like stigma that you can't say that somebody has mental problems because like a red flag comes up. You can't say that on the job. You can't say that with your friends. You can't say that with anybody, in front of anybody. And people usually have to hide it if they do have a mental problem or what they call these days a mental issue. And of course, I've done videos before, but I'm going to do this one since it's live and you're looking at me right now. I'm going to tell you that there is no mental issue. There are mental problems, and somebody can really be sick. Mental illness is not an issue. So you can't put those two together, mental issue and mental illness. You either mentally ill or you're not. Okay? And that's my opinion. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a neurologist, but I've been hanging around them for so long, and I have a whole bunch of friends that are, that I can tell you this much. They they themselves even tell me that they've gotten sick mentally. Can you imagine a psychiatrist getting sick mentally? It happens because all you need to do to get sick in your mind and have a mental illness is the fact that you're human. In fact, I think everyone goes through a mental episode at some point in their life. Some of us go earlier than others. Some of us go at an early age when we're really young. Some of us go as teenagers. Some of us go as young adults or adults. And some of us go towards our end of our life when we're older. You know, when we're like in our 70s and 80s. And sometimes people develop mental illness at that time. So it can happen at any stage in your life. That's what I believe. But it has to be addressed in the beginning. If you see a kid that has, you know, mental problems, mental illness, that's a very serious thing. And it has to be addressed early enough so that they can either stop the illness or regress it, slow it down, so that the kid can have a chance to learn, to develop, even though if he has to go into a special needs program or whatever. But now there are mental illnesses that you for sure know that no, this kid is not going to develop. This kid is going to need help for life. And that has to be determined by a professional, okay? And of course, you as a parent, you're not a professional of mental health, even though you think you're a Google psychologist because you just read something in Google. And I'm going to be straight up. Everybody wants to be an expert these days. Everybody wants to be a Google expert. But to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurologist, whatever it is that you do in the mental health industry, it takes years, not only of school, but experience too. So if you go in there and a psychologist has been a psychologist forever, and he's seen like thousands and thousands of different kids in his life, and he tells you your kid has something wrong with it, we have to check him out, you better pay attention. And that's where this country has failed. And of course, some of us slip through the cracks. Some of us slip through the cracks and still make it. But not everybody has that chance. I have studied my way into this mental illness, mental issues dilemma. And I can tell you this much. A mental illness is not a mental issue. So don't keep calling it a mental issue, because if you have a mental issue, get over it. You have nothing. You just got an issue. But if you have a mental illness, take care of it. Get some medication. Put the proper things in there that's going to help your neurons work properly. Because what you have is a chemical imbalance of your brain. The brain has chemicals, neurotransmitters, and they all have to work the right way. And if you have an imbalance, a chemical imbalance in your brain, it has to be fixed. And it can only be fixed with medication sometimes. Most of the time, actually. And of course, don't be saying that you have a mental issue and you can't work because you ain't got nothing. But go get yourself checked out if you think you have a problem, because the problem can become a worse problem. And like I said, they're blaming the government now, of course, because they want the government to step in and start early. And with this issue of people having kids, more kids being autistic, and another thing called Asperger, and many different things that are happening right now as far as mental problems, mental illnesses with an S and an ES. We have to catch these things early. So don't be calling, like I said, don't be calling a mental illness a mental issue, because it's not. And it's very real. And with this one, I'll say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to all the people around the world that follow my music and follow my videos. I know who you are, and I really appreciate it. There's a bunch of you right there, over 85 million of you already in my channel. I appreciate every one of you. I don't take it for granted. This is Tony Dizant, space rocker of the planet Earth, still living in this beautiful planet called Earth, today with a message of a mental illness is not a mental issue. But if you have a mental issue, get over it.